טוב, ברוך השם, אנחנו נמצאים בבית מדרש של צבי ואנחנו מצולמים. I don't know, where cameras in the front, cameras in the back.
No, you're not מצולם. Outside is מצולם.
But we should all know everything is
מצלמים אותנו.
מצלמים אותנו מלמעלה, everything. צלם אלוקים. We are all images. That's what we are. Imagine what we are. We're all images. היום זה 36 ימים, היום 6 ו30 יום שהם 5 שבועות ביום אחד לעומר, 36 days in the Omer, Lamed Vav. And I want to start the shir.
Are you a Lamed Vavnik?
I am always a Lamed Vavnik.
If you count Sfira today, you're a Lamed Vavnik.
But just make sure you, last night you would not say that. You would have to say it with a bracha. Anyway, I'd like to start the shir in English, dedicated to the yahrzeit of my dear wife's great granny, Chana Pesha Bas Yeshayahu. She was the Ashes Yosef Kalameyer. So her maiden name, she has a Polti, and she also has, her name is Rabinowitz, but it turns out that the ancestry is Polti on one side and Kalameyer on the other side, and supposedly they come from the Vilna Gaon. Originate from the Vilna Gaon. Kacha Shamati Aval al Chana Pesha. They have sweet memories. There are 3 people on this chat who are related: Marty, Lionel, and my dear wife. They said about Chana Pesha that she would give out penny chocolates, penny Nestles. So in the shape of coins, you know, they're like this. On Hanukkah, you give out Hanukkah geld, chocolate coins. They would have it already in South Africa. They had this. Anyway, Meshomo Zoham Aliyah. Chaf Aleph Iyar today is the Yahrzeit Rabbi Yitzchak Isaac Premishla. I said that right. Yeah, I said it right. And I want to wish, I tried to call Lenny to find out because you asked how he's doing. So I still have to get an update. Aryeh Leib Ben Tuva. These people should have a refuah shlema. Yari Nisim Ben Ofra. Michal Ben Amisara. Pesach Yosef Ben Hinda. Aaron Tzvi Ben Nechama. Binyamin Ben Daniel. Margalis Chaim Daniel Ben Hodaya. Yisrael Ben Inbal Esther. Shira Bas. Shira Rusbas, Rivka, Barak ben Tamar, Pinchas Daniel ben Sarah, Yair ben Rachel Leah, Moshe ben Frida Leah, Tinok. I just heard Yalud, they call them Yalud, that he's still Murdam, he's still a baby. Tinok ben Salah, Tzila ben Salah. Yeah. And we should, and guess what? You asked. I saw Shmuel Gamliel, and you asked, you said, no, let there be something. So he said something.
Let it be.
Louis. And it turns out that Shalom Ben Bela, Mir Hashem, maybe we'll hear some good news.
Yeah, he's saying somebody?
He's saying, yep, he said something
okay.
there.
Okay.
Tova. Avram Shalom Ben.
Get the shoes ready.
Good, I am. Avram Shalom Ben Rachel, Yaakov Ben Rus, and Yisrael Nisim Ben Rachel. These should have a zibud noah. Okay, so we should start with our Tehillim, but I have to mention the other yahrzeits for today. I'm sure you heard of him, and I had a personal relationship with him. Moshe Sherer.
Yeah, I heard of it. I didn't have any relationship with him.
You didn't have it? I had, as a high school student, I actually went to the Agudah, I volunteered, and I did research on the ESEA 1965, the Elementary Secondary Education Act, where Rabbi Sherer, unlike, I don't want to mention other people who I knew, felt that he didn't feel that there was a problem with church and state when it came to funding of yeshivas. So he would look for every enactment in Congress to see if yeshivas could be subsidized by them, you know, whether it's for windows, security, all sorts of things. So I remember doing research on the ESEA 1965 for Rav Scherer, and I will talk about him, but we have to do our Tehillim for the day. We're up to 55, and that's not the speed limit. 55 is today's Tehillim. Manvav, סליחה.
Really gets you in the mood, doesn't he?
כי רבים. I don't know if that's a Revi. What is it? דברי יצרו עלי נפשי על אבן לפעמים הורג כמעטי בנתך אז ישוע באלוהים בטחתי לא ירא מיעש אדם לי עלי אלוהים נדריך אשלם תודות לך כי הצלת נפשי מבוות הלא רגלי מדחי להתהלך לפני אלוהים באור החיים. We're going to sing because we forgot yesterday.
Did you say Nun He?
I said by mistake. I corrected myself. It's Nun Vav.
Oh, I'm looking here for the whole time. I'm looking. Where is he saying?
Okay, at least you know it's not Nun Hey. No is Nun Vav. No. Anyway, Lam Naseach.
Can I get my money back?
Okay. Am Naseach. You can actually say Nun Vav too now. Lam Naseach al Jonas Elam.
No.
Der Mizmor hat dem David Melcher gesagt, wenn ist gewinn, also wie a Stumme. Stumme Toib. What's a Stumme Toib? Deaf mute. Stumme Toib.
What's a Toib?
Toib, in other words, you can't. Stumme means you can't speak,
right.
And Toib is you can't hear. Toib, mute. I'm sorry, deaf. Stumme is mute, and Toib is deaf mute. Helen Keller was everything. She couldn't do anything, right? Anyway, Chaneni Elokim, Rechokim, is der Malt, Gewen Vit, von Eretz Yisrael, the David Michtam, mir soll dem Mizmor singen mitten nigen Michtam. Beachos os Abschlichtim, wenn die Abschlichtim haben ihm gehabt. Begat, where's Begat? Ein in der Stob, in der Stadt, Gat. Und haben ihm gewollt hargenen. So Gat is not, usually you'd think Gat is a wine press, but Gat was a place. You get it? You got it? Begat?
Got it?
Got it? The taxi case. What happens if you already in the taxi? You're not in get anymore. It's got, right? Anyway, forget it.
Not to be confused with the goat.
And the goat. You're getting my goat. אנחנו רוצים להזכיר את ההיסטוריות של משה שרה. משה בן חיים שרה נולד ב-1921 ונפטר ב-1998.
Oh, we don't sing anymore?
I think, didn't we sing?
Yesterday.
I was about to sing, and then you also did everything. Ahachenu,
Kol Beis Yisrael,
Ahachenu, Kol Beis Yisrael, Hanasunem Esara,
Vatzara Uvashivya,
Amdem Bein Bayom,
Uvein
Bayabasha.
Hamakom Yirachem Aleim Yotziei Mitzara Lerevacha U'Nefel Aliyora U'Mishima Ve'Geola Hasra
Bagala Uvisman Kariv. Nomar Amen. Ich hab gewollt stuppen, dem Achenu will singen, fahr dem Jiddisch, aber ich weiß nicht. Wir sollen nicht vergessen. Rabbi Yitzchak Isaac, we were on Moshe Sheriff, okay. Was born 1921, died 1998. Nolad בברוקלין, למד בישיבת תרבות אחר כך נר ישראל בבולטימור, היה תלמיד מובהק, הוא קיבל כל השאלות שלו באגודת ישראל, הוא שאל רב אהרן קוטלר. ב-1941 היה סגן נשיא אגודת ישראל באמריקה, ב-1963 היה הנשיא, became the president.
Who was the president when he was the Nasi, when he was the Sgan Nasi?
Trying to remember famous names. Teller, what was his name? Anyway, it'll come to me. 1988 היה שדלן בוושינגטון. Shadlan. That's an interesting word.
They use those.
Macher.
That's the words they use today in the Knesset.
Shadlan. Macher, in Yiddish, Macher. Influencer. Tomech Yisrael Chazak. Ve'amarti al ESEA 1965. He was in his position as in Aguda 55 years. And he was really, he gave, I think, an invocation at the presidential inauguration. I think he did that. And anyway, I'm still trying to think of the name of his predecessor as the president of Aguda. Anyway, okay. Hayom ze gam ken yortzeit shel Rabbi Yitzchak Isaac miPremishla ben Reb Yaakov nolad ב-1735 בסמוך לפרמישלה ונפטר. איפה זה פרמישלה?
Premishlan.
Usually you look it up. Let's ask the camera. ונפטר ביום כ"א אייר, שזה היום. היום זה 21st day of אייר. ב-1983. Where were you in 1783? בתחילת ימיו הסתיר מעשיו בבני אדם. He was like a nister, a mystic. ולא הכירו בו כי היה נחבא אל הכלים. You hear that expression? נחבא אל הכלים. He was hiding amongst the baggage. עסק בסתרי תורה יומם ולילה, וכאשר נתגלה גדלו, קדושתו נראו אליו רבים מכל ארצות. גם רבינו הפשט, בעל שם טוב נסע אליו, להמתיק סוד עמו. That's another interesting Israeli, Hebrew expression. Hamtik sod is to see, devise counsel. Rabbi Yitzchak Isaac חיבר ספרים יקרים. Osios Rabbi Yitzchak, al Chaf Beis Osios B'derech Pardes. Yesod Yitzchak, al Hilchos Mila v'tikun Pgam Abris, גם כן בדרך פרדס. ו-58 אופנים על הפסק, תן חלק לשבע וגם לשמונה. ובסופו מוסר מידוס טובוס. רוזה מהם נוסה, קבלה עמוקה וביר מאמריך זוהר. שרוסה שלו יופרע עבר, if he didn't want to be disturbed, he came to the כפר המרוחק חצי מיל מהעיר וחי שם בעוני ובסיגופים כצדיק נסתר. היה מלמד ושוחט ובודק ושחט בכפרים שבסביבותיו. בזמן השחיטה זלגו עיניו דמעות בתיקון גלגולים. בשבת הוא שב לביתו בשירה בזמרה. כשנסע פעם רב חנקי, imagine a shochet who realized that the behemoths could be gilgulim, and he shed tears.
Sorry, I don't think I understand.
You won't. This is a little above your pay rate.
Pay grade.
Pujo. Anyway, what does Pujo mean anyway? Does it have a meaning? Is it a place?
Pushover.
Pushover, okay. You hear that? You got to take that.
Driving straight.
Right. Okay. So, נודע לו שכאן היה בית הסתרים של רבי יצחק אייזק. שרבי יצחק אייזק הרגיש שנתגלה. מיד נסע לביתו ונפטר בחצי ימיו. רב אריה מקרלין בא אל רבנית האלמנה שתספר מגדולת בעלה. You want to hear this beautiful story? That we have
By the way, I looked for Premishlan.
And?
It brought me to Moistos Primishlan in here.
In Israel.
Here in Israel.
Primishlan is in Israel. Okay, that's something new. We just moved. They say all the Batei Knossos are going to come to Israel anyway. So Rav Aaron Kalin went to the Amana after he was Nifter, and she said, could you tell me of his greatness? He Amra, She'ein lo reshut. She said, I don't have any permission. Rak, Herata lo shnei nerot kabuyim. She showed 2 candles that were extinguished. Shadolku me'az nisueim, that had been lit throughout their marriage. For Rak kishniftar chabu, and only when he was nifter, those candles went out. Wow. Woo, 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 woo. Azika.
What, they never went out?
No, they didn't. Azika Rav Aaron Alibo Ashalo Halach La'akira V'nishak et Kitlei Abayis.
I mean, that competes with Nes Chanukah.
Either that, Nes Chanukah, or the Ner Tamid. The Ner Tamid. Here we go. Besof Sifro Osios to Rabbi Yitzchak. Masha Ramzu Razal V'Afta Es Hashem B'Kol Vavcha B'Shnei Yitzrecha Yetzer Tov Yetzer Hara Ki Yadua She'i Efshar Levatel Yetzer Hara El B'Divrei Torah Kamosha Amru Razal In Paga Kamosha Kasu B'Zohar Leis Katruga Leitzer Hara B'Amilin Deraisa V'Hani Yadua Shehu Himtamkus HaKlipus Hu Shia Niftolim B'Kol Rak Osot Tzad Hamar V'Akasha Yakru HaKadosh Baruch Hu Min Olam V'yashara Katza Tov. This is a chiddush. He's saying that the Yetzer Hara is not totally bad. That there's a part that's good. You can hear what he says. Vayamtik HaKadosh Baruch Hu Chitzon Memrios U'B'Shvil Zeh Yikansu El Kedusha V'Zeh Asod Bala HaMavas L'Netzach Bila HaMavas L'Netzach Rak HaMavas Yivulav V'Nishar Malach HaKadosh V'Atorah Kikvar Nispat El Yetzer Hara V'zeh Masha Amru Razal La'osid HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mevi HaYetzer Hara V'Shochto Klomer Shochto L'Shnayim Shnei Chalokim HaChelik Hara Ya'akar Mimenu V'Nishar HaChelik HaTov. You hear that? That the Yetzer Hara still has a Chelik HaTov. L'zeh Ramzu L'al V'Ahavta Es Hashem Elokecha B'chol Levavcha Hi HaTorah HaPotachas B'Beis U'Mesayim B'Lamid Bereshis Meinei Kol Yisrael V'Torah b'chaf beis osios v'zel levavcha v'kach amra b'chol levavcha shnei yitzrecha b'yetzer tov b'yetzer hara ki b'zeh she'yisasik b'Torah shehu kitrug yetzer hara b'zeh yisbatel hamariva shebo v'oz gam hu yeh muchrach lios tov v'lo ra v'yeh v'oso b'lev shol v'osi dibatel kol mariva shebo v'lo yishar rak kulo tov v'oz v'oisla v'Hashem amlucha b'yom hu yeh Hashem echad shmo echad b'mheira b'yomeinu amen. Ad Khan, Rab Perishla. No, a bissel Yiddish?
I don't think I had any words that you got stuck on yesterday.
Really? You only record the ones that...
Yeah.
By the way, I find it very interesting that you are up to date. Really. Atam Khan. Oh, you have it. It actually speaks. By the way, you want to know why I know you're updated?
Why?
Because you only have 1,768 messages. 1,780.
Where did your messages? Oh.
Only 1,760.
Right.
You're really up to date.
That's just the texts.
That's text.
Right.
Telegrams, you have telegrams? I thought telegrams are out of there. They cost, my days, they cost a lot of money. For one, each letter cost at least $1. Remember those days when you sent telegrams?
Telegrams, yeah.
Anyway, let's... 27,000. Could I remind everybody, please don't send me any emails, please. If
You're filling up my phone.
It's amazing you have all that space that it takes. Usually these emails, they tell you delete, and they tell you, you know.
I think there's like a tetra. Somebody.
Anyway, nicht kein neue Wörter. Alte Wörter. You knew everything. That's not good. You have to, help us out.
Yeah.
Man darf helfen uns. Uns helfen. Darf uns helfen. By the way, you didn't look at Blech to see. I sent you some stuff on accusative and dative and
yeah.
I sent
As a
you.
matter of fact, I spent probably about 20 minutes reading the section in the Dummies book.
Idiot book, not the dummies.
Idiot. On grammar, and it's actually explains it pretty well. Yeah. The difference between the nominative and the genitive and the dative and the accusative and where if it's now where the action is, And when I was reading it, I was thinking of my mother. So my mother knew English grammar like backwards and forwards, and growing up, she would tell us all these things. Went in one ear, went right out the other. Made no impression on me.
Is the reason that?
No, my mother, Allah Shalom, really, she could have been a professor of English literature, but they were very poor, so she didn't go to college.
But what made her,
She loved English literature. She loved grammar.
She was a philologist.
Latin.
She loved
Latin.
She studied. Where did she go to school? My mother, Allah Shalom, went to Girls High. She went to
in Boston. There was a school called the Jeremiah Burke. That's where they went.
So she really picked up. She even studied Latin.
Yeah, my mother said that in their days, a high school degree was
equivalent to a college degree.
Was today what she say like for a master's degree. They
took
their studies very seriously, and they were very good teachers. And
look, to this day, I think there's Brooklyn Tech, Bronx High, the Stuyvesant. There's still some classic schools.
Yeah, but they're not what they were.
No, they weren't. Anyway, so okay, morgen wird sein zweimal.
Morgen wird sein zweimal.
Zwei Mikro. Okay. Okay, ich will wünschen euch a beautiful day, a große Tag, schöne Tag. And I try not to leave too many things behind. Okay, let's see. I walked down and just kept talking without taking the device. That was interesting.
You want this too?
I hope so. Chaim Tovim!
Chaim Tovim!
Have a wonderful day. Okay. נמשיך את השיעור בדרך. בוקר טוב. Today is a little chilly. That's why I'm wearing a sweater. יש לי סוודר או צמריה. ואנחנו נמשיך את הרפואה שלמה לחיים ישראל בן פרידה הדסה, דניאל בן שושנה, ומתקרבים למקום הקבוע שלנו שנמשיך את השיעור. יש כאן רוח הקודש. You can see moving into the wind. Okay, here we go. We're here. And let's see, it's going to be a challenge. יש רוח חזק. Okay. היום זה גם כן היורצייט של שמעון שלמה בן אברהם הרופא מסברה, המכונה המגיד מסברן. Like there's Savarin coffee. נפטר ב-1800, היה המגיד מישורים בסברין. היה תלמיד מגיד ממזריץ' ואבי שולשלס, סברין ובנדרי. היום זה גם כן היורצייט של Moshe Dayan. Now it's not the Moshe Dayan, the foreign minister. It's Moshe ben Avraham Dayan, שנולד ב-1931 ונפטר ב-1996. 79, נולד בקהיר, בגיל 10 למד בישיבת אהבה ואחווה אצל עובדיה יוסף, ב-1952 למד בבית מדרש רבנים בפריז. הוא הוסמך על ידי יעקב קפלן, הרב הראשי בצרפת. ב-1956 מונה כרב הראשי לצפון צרפת, והיה גם כן רב הראשי הצבא של צרפת. ב-1963 עלה לארץ ישראל ולמד בישיבת פורת יוסף. השתקע בתל אביב, היה רב בבית כנסת אב שלום. ב-1972 היה רב ראשי סן פאולו, ברזיל. הוא חיבר ליקוטי חמד, חמדת משה. עד כאן היורצייטים של היום. איזה רוח חזק. היום אמרתי שזה היום כ"א אייר, אז אנחנו מדברים על המרגלים. ויחס כלב את העם אל משה. ופירש רש"י שהשתיקם. Kalev was able to silence the other meraglim. She'amar, L'chizo belvad asalem ben Amram. If not, and they refer to Moshe as Ben Amram, we see it in speech how you could cause people to hear. They wanted to hear the Lashon Hara, because when he said Ben Amram, that's disparaging. It's not to say Moshe, it's if to say, oh, he's Ben Amram. So they began to hear it. But then, Kalev turned it into the Shvach. He praised Moshe. V'halo karal lanu asayam. Through Moshe Rabbeinu, we were able to go through Kriyas Yamsuf. Through Moshe Rabbeinu, we were able to get the man. The Kavanasa, Shel Kalev, Ilu Ba HaKadosh Baruch Hu Imanu B'din. If Klal Yisrael was judged according to their behavior, we wouldn't be deserving of the splitting of the Red Sea, and nor of the dissension of nor of the month. Even when they were at the Yam, they rebelled. And even with the man, in the beginning they complained. Forgive this nation for their sins, and you forgive them. And now, Kalev is saying, here we are about to go into Eretz Yisrael according to Hashem's command that we should go into Eretz Yisrael, and yet we're complaining. Although now Eretz Yisrael Moshe Amar Moshe, and yet they were complaining. The Chedem Meraglim. And the Chavetz Chaim continues. The Meraglim said, one can't even go there. They are greater, more powerful than us, stronger than us. As if to say, Chas v'sholom, that Kadosh Baruch Hu did not have the power, the strength to get out his creations. But this is what they meant. When does Hashem displace some nation? If the nation that's going to displace it is better than the first one. Then he gives the first one the power to destroy those who are settling there. But us, meaning the Meraglim, talked about themselves. Talking about Lashon Hara and Klal Yisrael, saying the Meraglim saying we sinned with the ego and also with the Basar Taiva. Lo yachala avarenu umas kadolas kelev. Kadosh Baruch Hu will not destroy them for us. And as far as the promise of a Kadosh Baruch Hu to give us the land. Dafke Mayinu Zakai Begetter Tzadikim. So they added the interpretation, just like when it came to the Eitz Hadas, the Nachash added, don't touch it, not just to eat the fruit, but don't even touch it. So here they added, saying the only way to get to Eretz Yisrael is if we're tzaddikim. Never was said that day. Only then would we be successful. Again, but since we're not tzaddikim, so they false modesty. Therefore, they had the chetem raglim. They said diva. They defamed Eretz Yisrael, and for that we were punished, Klal Yisrael. And with that, I want us to be very careful with Shmiras Halakim, and I wish everyone Shmuel Tovot, Sorot Tovot, Yom Tov B'Kulam.